Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Janice Lo. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Premier Li Qiang meets Janel Yellen in an effort to improve Sino-US ties. Hong Kong's de facto central bank eases mortgage lending for the first time in 14 years. And police crack down on a syndicate that defrauded at least 10 people of millions of dollars. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janel Yellen says Washington is seeking healthy competition with Beijing. Premier Li Qiang sounded an optimistic note and referred to the weather, saying there will be rainbows after the storm. With Sino-US relations near rock bottom, Janel Yellen is on a mission to mend ties. She told Premier Li Qiang this afternoon that Washington is not adopting a winner-take-all approach.
The United States, in certain circumstances, will need to pursue targeted actions to protect its national security, but we should not allow any disagreement to lead to misunderstandings that needlessly worsen our bilateral economic and financial relationships.
Li noted that Sino-US ties have been rocky in the past. But he believes that China and the United States will see, as he put it, more rainbows after storms were experienced. The premier noted that the rainbow was spotted when Yellen arrived yesterday. Her visit began just days after Beijing restricted the export of metals, which are crucial in the production of semiconductors.
We're still evaluating the impact of these actions, but they remind us of the importance of building resilient and diversified supply chains.
It was a tit-for-tat move after the U.S. banned exports of vital chip-making components to China. Yellen told representatives of the U.S. business community in Beijing that the decision to bar exports of sensitive materials to China was made to protect national security and not to gain an economic advantage. She also held talks with Central Bank Governor Li Qiang and former Vice Premier Liu He, focusing on their own and the global economies. Locally, Hong Kong's de facto central bank is relaxing mortgage lending rules for self-use home buyers. The move is the first since mortgage lending was tightened 14 years ago to stop speculation as prices went through the roof.
The maximum loan-to-value ratio for residential properties with a value of 15 million Hong Kong dollars or below will be increased to 70%. For properties valued at more than 15 million Hong Kong dollars and up to 30 million Hong Kong dollars, the maximum loan-to-value ratio will be increased to 60%. For residential properties with a value above 30 million Hong Kong dollars, the maximum loan-to-value ratio will remain unchanged at 50%.
The maximum LTV for non-self-use residential properties will also remain unchanged at 50%. The adjustments take effect from today and applies to all property transactions and purchase agreements signed from now on. The Monetary Authority said the banking system will remain stable after the adjustments. Young people have been urged to be extra careful when looking for jobs. This came after police broke up a syndicate which allegedly defrauded 10 people of over $8 million, Macy Mock reports.
Police displayed 17 computers and documents seized from the homes and the Tsim Sha Tsui office of the syndicate's suspected mastermind and 2 key members. Commercial Crime Bureau officers said the ring lured victims by posing as a trading company that was looking for new employees. Acting Superintendent Li Qiang said advertisements offering jobs paying about $16,000 monthly were posted on recruitment websites. Acting Chief Inspector Li Qiang said once victims were recruited, the syndicate encouraged them to invest in London gold. The scammers profited from commission fees by trading in gold on behalf of their victims. They allegedly urged them to keep investing until their bank accounts ran out. 10 victims have been identified, with each losing between $40,000 and $2.9 million. Officers believe there could be more people who were defrauded.
We managed to find lots of employment records, up to 70 sets of employment records, and we believe that those might be some victims. Anyway, we are still doing some inquiries to further ascertain the number of victims in this case.
Police have not ruled out further arrests. They urged young people looking for summer jobs to be cautious and check companies thoroughly before joining. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
4 former members of the activist group Demusisto have been released on bail. The 4, including Ivan Lam, who headed the disbanded association, have to report to the police next month. They were suspected of financially supporting wanted former lawmaker Nathan Law by collecting funds from an app called Punish Me. Police are still detaining another former Demusisto member, Kelvin Chu, who was arrested yesterday at the airport. All 5 were accused of conspiring to collude with foreign forces and committing acts with seditious intent. Punish Me's mobile app and social media pages were taken down this morning. The chief executive has called for closer links between Hong Kong and the southwestern province of Guizhou. Speaking at a conference in the provincial capital of Guiyang, John Li pushed for better economic ties with Pan-Pearl River Delta provinces. Macy Mock reports.
John Li attended an annual conference in Guiyang, capital of Guizhou, where the leaders of the 9 Pan-Pearl River Delta provinces met the chief executives of Hong Kong and Macau. Li told the gathering that companies from those provinces, including Fujian, Jiangxi, and Hunan, are welcome to invest and open businesses in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong government has set up an office to assist them, especially those in the innovation and technology sector. In a press briefing before returning home, Li said Hong Kong and Guizhou should step up collaboration in commerce, investment, tourism, and culture. He added that Hong Kong can help the province attract capital and take its enterprises to the world stage. Hong Kong and Guizhou should also work together on education and developing talent. Li said Guizhou is home to many ethnic groups, and the province's cultures can be promoted to the rest of the world by holding exhibitions and performances in Hong Kong. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
The MTR Corporation says a track circuit fault was to blame for the suspension of cross-border high-speed rail services last Saturday. Hundreds of passengers were affected by the second high-speed service breakdown in 2 months. Chloe Wong reports.
More than 800 mainland-bound passengers were stranded at West Kowloon Station when high-speed rail services were disrupted at around 5 p.m. last Saturday. 4 trains between Hong Kong and Shenzhen stopped running, and more than 10 others were delayed. Public announcements were only made 2 hours after the disruptions began. Services returned to normal after nearly 3 hours. The railway operator at first blamed the disruptions on a signaling failure. But today, MTR Operations Director Tony Lee told legislators that the cause was related to a track circuit fault.
And having inspected the equipment, we didn't find any anomaly, but we will continue to conduct investigation, and if need be, the components will be replaced.
It was the second time in 2 months that high-speed rail services were suspended. Lawmaker Michael Tian said it was unacceptable and urged the railway operator to review and improve its maintenance procedures. Chloe Wong, HKIBC.
Hong Kong's press freedom indices have fallen to their lowest level since the survey began 10 years ago. A survey by the Journalists Association found that the public gave press freedom a rating of 41.4 last year, down from 42 in the previous year. Journalists were more critical, and their rating of 25.7 fell from 26.2 in 2021, dropping for the fourth straight year. The Journalists Association said people were more hesitant in criticizing the local and central governments and resorted to self-censorship. About 90% of the journalists surveyed said the sedition charges faced by the editors of the now-defunct Stand News were very damaging to press freedom. Overseas, Israeli troops have shot and killed 2 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank town of Nablus. Relatives and friends buried the 2 men who were killed. Israel said the pair were killed in an exchange of fire, adding that they were suspected of shooting at police earlier this week. The Palestinians said Israeli troops surrounded a house and executed the man. The shooting comes after 12 Palestinians were killed in 2 days of Israeli attacks on Jenin earlier this week. Washington has been urged to release the remaining 30 Muslim men languishing in the notorious U.S. detention center in Guantanamo Bay. About 800 men were arrested after the terrorist attacks on the United States in 2001 and sent to the prison where they were tortured for information.
Because they are torture victim survivors, they have difficulties concentrating. They have challenges with recurrent memory, somatic pain. Many of them struggle with mobility and other issues. We understand that what torture does is it breaks a person. It breaks them profoundly. It breaks their psychological well-being. It makes them powerless completely. It humiliates them. It's about taking a person apart.
An Alzheimer's drug that slows the disease's progression has been approved by U.S. officials. The IV drug named Li Qiang treats patients with mild dementia and other symptoms that are caused by early signs of the brain-robbing disease. Japanese drug maker Eisai received a conditional approval by the Food and Drug Administration. It's the first medicine that's been convincingly shown to modestly slow Alzheimer's cognitive decline. The Hong Kong stock market sank to a 5-week low today, with the Hang Seng Index losing almost 1% on the back of a slump by banks. Agricultural Bank of China dropped 2.4% as mainland lenders continued to slide following recent downgrades by Goldman Sachs. HKIBC fell 1.4%. Mainland commentators tried to stem the retreat, saying investors misinterpreted the gloomy report by the U.S. investment bank. Bucking the trend, tech giant Alibaba jumped 3.4% on signs that the regulatory scrutiny of the Ant Group is drawing to a close. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index ended the day down by 167 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tracker Fund lost 16 cents, Tencent was down 20 cents, while Alibaba gained $2.80. HKEX was down $7.80, Meituan lost $1.50, while AIA lost 65 cents. To the foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar, the euro is at 8.52, the pound's at 9.99, and the Canadian dollar is at 5.85. Over in Europe, the London FTSE 100 is currently down by 28 points. On to the weather now. The baking heat continues during the day tomorrow, with a few isolated showers. Temperatures will range between 28 and 33 degrees. Expect the mercury to remain high through the weekend. That's our main news for Friday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Janice Lo. Good evening.